Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Walt, and I'm here with Chris Psaltis, who is the CEO and the co-founder of Mist.io, which is one of our newest and coolest apps on Vultr Marketplace. So, Chris, talk about what you guys do, the app, and then what you're now building with your new multi-cloud CLI.
Yes, hi, Walt. So, Mist, first of all, is an open source multi-cloud management platform. And by that, I mean that we help you manage centrally any type of infrastructure that you have, like public clouds, private clouds, you name it. What I've prepared for this video is a demo of how can you install Mist on Vultr's Kubernetes engine, how you can install the CLI, and a quick demo of how everything works.
To install Mist's open source community edition, I will need a new Kubernetes cluster. I'm in Vultr Portal, and I'm going to create a new VKE cluster from here. I will name my new cluster Mist. I will name my node pool ND1, and I will increase the size of the nodes to make sure Mist has enough resources to run. 4 CPUs and 8 GB of RAM will be enough. Let's hit deploy now, and this will take just a few minutes. My new cluster is now ready. You can see it here. I will just download this Kube Config file so I can manage my cluster with Kubectl, and we're ready to head over to the cell now. Here I will do a number of things. First of all, I will connect to my new VKE cluster with Kubectl. I will then install Mist to the cluster using HELM. And finally, I will start testing Mist CLI. Let's begin with Kubectl. With this command, I'm adding the Kube Config file I downloaded from Vultr's web portal to my environment variables. Let's test Kubectl now with config view. Here it is. All the data required to communicate with this cluster. Let's also check out the nodes. Yep, everything is up and running fine. On to HELM now. I will add the Mist repo with this command, and I will also update it with HELM repo update. I will now install the latest beta of Mist from the 4.7 branch. With this command. By the time you watch this, the stable version will be out, so no need to add the -- version part. Also note that I'm overriding some size parameters here to make sure everything runs smoothly in Vultr. These usually differ between cloud providers depending on how their storage works. This will take about 3 minutes. HELM has completed the installation. To check out my new Mist instance, I need to get the ingress IP as shown here. Let's copy paste this. Please keep in mind that it might take a few minutes for the ingress to get ready. So this is it right now. I will also need the credentials of a Mist admin user. I will get them with this command here. Let's copy paste this as well. As you see, I get an auto-generated username, a password, and an API token. I have to stress here that this is just a quick and dirty way to install Mist and try it out. For any other use you have in mind, you will need to set up DNS and TLS. Everything is described in our README file, so you can check more information there. Let's head over to the browser now to check out the new installation. This is the IP I got from HELM. Let's go there. Here is the landing page of your new Mist installation. Let's try to log in with the auto-generated credentials I showed you earlier. And yes, everything is working great. I won't do anything else here since I want to show you how our CLI works. So let's dig into that now. To install Mist CLI, just head over to its GitHub page and follow the instructions here. Mist CLI is just a binary that works on Windows, Linux, as well as Mac OS. If you're on Mac OS like myself, please note that you will need to upgrade your bus to version 4 or higher. Back to the command line, I have already installed Mist CLI here, so now I will create a new context with the API token I got from here. The command for doing this is mist config, and I will add the API token with Mist config, add context. Let's call this context Vultr, and let's copy and paste this API key, and also -- server for this IP. Okay, it's done. Contexts are especially helpful when running multiple Mist organizations and or installations. For example, when you have an org with customer A and one for customer B, you can see the whole list of orgs. I have added in this specific case with Mist config get contexts. Here it is, the 3 orgs I have added already. So it's fairly simple to switch between them. Again, with Mist config, use context prod to get to this one, or back to the Vultr one. Now that I added the context, the next step is to add some clouds to manage. As you can see here, Mist supports more than 20 public and private clouds, hypervisors, container hosts, Kubernetes clusters, and even bare metal servers. In every case, you need to provide some sort of API credentials that Mist will use to communicate with the native RESTful APIs. The exact type of credentials depends on the cloud you are trying to add. I'm switching back to the command line now to show you how you can add a cloud using the CLI. Let's assume, for example, that you would like to add your Vultr account to Mist. In this case, the command would look like this. This is Mist add cloud, credentials, just an API key in this case, the name of the cloud, and the type of the provider. Let's go ahead and add it. In some cases, it might make more sense to add your cloud directly through a file. Both YAML and JSON are supported. This is the same example that I showed you before. And in this case, the add cloud command can take the -f argument, so you can add it like this. All right, now let's see if everything is working fine. Yes, here is the cloud I added. And let's see if it has any VMs in it. Yes, the 3 VMs that I had already in my account, plus the 3 new ones from the Kubernetes cluster that I created earlier. All right, now let's switch to another organization where I have added more resources, more clouds, in order to show you more of the functionality. Okay, so now we're in my prod account. Let's see what resources we have here. I have 8 clouds here, both private and public infrastructure. So let's go ahead and start testing it. The first thing I wanted to show is how you can search for resources. We all spend a lot of time looking for things in our cloud accounts. Now that everything is connected to Mist, finding the resources you need is very simple. For example, with Mist get machine, you get the list of all the VMs running across all the clouds connected to your Mist account. You can obviously filter through them, let's say to fetch a list of all your VMs on Vultr or all your VMs on vSphere. Or you can even search for a specific string. Let's say, let's search for ND1, and this is the list of all the VMs with ND1 in their name. It's also simple to export results in alternative formats. Back to the Vultr example, I could export this in JSON, or I could do it in YAML. These are very helpful when you would like to integrate with other systems that take YAML or JSON as input. And you can even select specific columns to export. Like back to this example, let's say that I only need the name and the cost of this VM. And let's say now that I would also like to export this in CSV, so I can create a report for management. Very similar to how the get machine command works. You can apply it to other types of resources, let's say networks, for example, again, that belong to Vultr. And I can get more information about this network in YAML, let's say. So here it is. Besides looking for things, you also want to do stuff, send actions to your resources. For example, you could reboot a machine with this command. It will autocomplete the name, or you can also destroy it. You can find similar actions for other resource types as well. The most painful action, though, usually is creating new VMs. You have to remember all sorts of slugs, IDs, names, etc. With Mist, you can still go crazy with that, but there are also a lot of quick and simple ways to provision stuff. So, for example, let's assume that you have connected an AWS and a Vultr cloud to your Mist account, and you just want the cheapest 2-core, 2 GB machine that you can find. Obviously, nobody can remember the pricing of sizes, but Mist can help you with that. Check out this command. This command will create a new VM with the Debian OS, 2 cores, 2 GB of RAM. It will deploy my SSH key on this VM, and it will also perform a dry run. In this situation, when dry is true, it will not actually pull the trigger. Let's check the YAML. Okay, here it is. What Mist did right now is that it went through all the sizes, all the images available, both in EC2 and Vultr, and it picked the cheapest one. In this case, it's a machine in Vultr's Amsterdam region. So let's go ahead and create this. I will just remove the dry run parameter, hit enter. And while this is happening in the background, I would also like to show you how you can create new VMs taking inputs from files. Let's see, YAML file I have prepared already. Here's a similar example to the one I provisioned already. In this situation, you can just do Mist create without all those parameters. You can just give it a -f and the file name of the VM you would like. Let's provision it as well. Okay, so both machines are being provisioned as we speak. Let's see what happened. Is anything ready? With -- search, Chris. Yep, here it is. The second one is also being created as we speak, and the first one. So this is how you can provision stuff in Mist. For more examples, specifically on how you can create new machines from the command line, you can get them from here with several details and some really nice examples. Immutable resources, treated like cattle, are nice and all, but sometimes you just have to resort to good old SSH to troubleshoot stuff. Mist lets you centrally manage your SSH keys and then access your VMs even without having private keys locally. No need to keep moving keys around on multiple devices, no nothing. Let's try to connect to one of the VMs I created earlier. Let's say the Chris VM. So right now Mist is tunneling your connection. Here it is, fully featured cell here, or let's just run top. Here it is, and let's exit. The last thing I wanted to show you today is metering. Mist keeps track of how long your volumes and VMs have been running, and it is able to calculate relevant metrics. This is really useful for tracking your cloud expenses. For example, let's see what's happening with our machines. But it can also be used for charging your own end customers. In this example here, you can see how many cores its VM has, how much RAM, and how long have these been running, and what's the total cost for everything. You can do something similar with volumes. So let's check it out here. In this case, the data collected by Mist are a little bit different. What's the size of the disk? And again, how long has this been running?
So In our next release, we are also putting together a new CLI. So the CLI can be used to manage everything, not from your browser, but from your command line.
If people want to know more about the multi-cloud CLI and Mist as a whole, where can they go to follow you and the work that your team is building?
Yeah, they can visit our website at mist.io or send us an email directly to support@mist.io.
So there you have it. We'll see you back here next week.